Hello, people who are joining. We are just letting people join. And we will give them a few minutes to do that. Okay. Riley, you should be able to talk now. Yeah, you don't have to though. No pressure. A cat has invaded my Zoom space. Classic. All right, we had about 86 people registered, so we're gonna give people maybe like 2 more minutes to see if they have reminders set or are having trouble logging on, and then we will get started. Okay, it looks like we've leveled off. So I'm going to go ahead and start. First, I'm going to introduce everyone. So my name is Carrie Campbell, and I am the Assistant Director for Communications at University Housing. If you come to first year orientation, you may see me again. We will be doing another presentation there. And this webinar will be recorded and put on our website as well if you want to send it to any friends or go back and refer to it later. I'm going to have Heather introduce herself and then Riley.
My name is Heather Arnold. I am the social media and marketing manager here with Housing. And I've been working with Carrie now for, like 7 months or something crazy like that, 6 months, So happy to be able to meet with all of y'all this evening. We'll be helping answer some of your questions, and we look forward to helping y'all out this summer.
And I am Riley McClure. I'm a rising junior. I don't like to say that, but it's true. And I'm the video producer for Housing. And yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited for everyone watching.
So we're going to go through, Heather and Riley are going to kind of fade to the background and be answering your questions in the background as I go through the presentation. I can get it to switch. There we go. So you can see that Q&A button. If you're on a desktop, it's at the top or the bottom in that little toolbar. If you're on a mobile device, you may have to kind of tap to see the Q&A button, but you could put your questions in there. You can put them in there the whole time. You don't have to wait till the end. And then Riley and Heather will be answering those. And we'll also have time for some questions for me to answer at the end as well. So the presentation will be 13 or so minutes, and then we'll have lots of time for questions after that. So again, this webinar is for incoming first year students for fall of 2023. Go ahead, pop your questions in the Q&A button, and you can see me in my little window here. You can drag me around if I'm ever in the way of any of your text. All right, doesn't want me to click. All right, so you may already know this at this point, but students are self-selecting their housing currently, and usually through the end of June, that process goes on based on when they registered for housing. So earlier registrations are going to have early appointment times to choose. And that is basically means that if you have an earlier appointment time, you can also pull in a roommate that has a later appointment time. I'll go over a little bit what those time slots mean in a second, but first I kind of want to go over the whole timeline. So everyone should be registered for housing by now. If not, please do that. Right now we're in the create a roommate group and choose your space era. So if you are coming in the fall, you should have gotten a communication from us, either giving you an appointment time or telling you that you do not yet have an appointment time. And the next update will come on June 8th. So like I said, we're going to be doing those appointment times weekdays through June. We usually try to wrap it up by the 4th of July. So up until, so for now, the people who have gotten appointment times, this is the date and the time that the last person had registered for housing and paid that $35 fee. So for females, the last person who actually got an appointment time in this first week, which was last week, was March 20th at 11:11 a.m. for females, and then March 25th at 9:32 p.m. for males. So if you fall outside that range, after that date, then you are still waiting for your appointment time. Don't worry, we have room for everyone. We just don't let everyone choose all at one time because we don't know who's pulling in roommates and who's not pulling in roommates and who wants what, because it's all a student-driven process. So we just do it in waves. Speaking of roommates, I always tell people there's 3 ways to get a roommate, and that's make a friend, find a friend, or bring a friend. The make a friend would be like if you just want a random roommate and all you need to know about that person is they're another first-year student who is the same gender that you have on your application, then that is what we call random, and that's you make a friend. They will choose a space in the building and you can choose the space, the other space, or vice versa. You pick a building, or you pick a room with 2 spaces. One remains empty and then they come in behind you and choose it. So that's the first way. The second way is to find a friend. I'm sorry about this cat. She escaped into the room. She loves it when I talk. You fill out your profile in the doghouse, you find a roommate that way, and that through our roommate matching tool, that is like match.com for roommates. It doesn't automatically match you, it just returns some matches for you so that you can make that decision between yourselves. So that's a good tool. We also know people are finding roommates in GroupMe and Facebook. Riley, do you have any good tips for roommates or finding roommates?
Yeah, so I know there's maybe a stigma about coming in with your high school best friend. I'm an only child and I needed that familiarity, and it was really beneficial to me to room with my high school roommate. So short answer, I don't think there's a wrong way. I've met so many people where they reflect on their freshman year and they think, I can't believe I made it 18 years prior to meeting my roommate without them. So there's really no wrong way.
Yeah. I think it's some good advice. And like we see a lot of really successful random roommate partnerships as well. Normally I would say don't live with your best friend because you got to make sure that if you never lived with them, they may not be your best friend forever, but I'm glad that worked out for you, Riley. Well done. All right, thank you. So the last one would be what Riley did, which is basically bring a friend. So if you know someone who's already admitted for the same semester as you, which now would be fall generally, then you create a roommate group in the doghouse, which is where you register for housing. It's our online housing portal. And then you two are in a group and one person can assign the other person to any space on campus. Generally, you're assigning yourselves to the same room, but you don't have to. I will say that if you're in a roommate group with a person and you have agreed to assign that person, like say Riley and I, we're in a roommate group and I have my appointment time first, and I panic and I don't put her in a room. Don't be that person. That's a jerk move, because she's counting on you to go ahead and put her in a space. So if you can't find exactly what you want together and you are panicking in the moment or didn't plan it in advance, at least pull them in the same building as you. And then that would be a lot easier for us to get them together or to get you guys together on the back end. So that's kind of a pro tip is don't leave your friend hanging. And if you can't find what you want, kind of at least put that person in the same building with you and don't leave them without a space when they're counting on you. So again, roommate groups are in the doghouse. Some people have already done this. Some people have already chosen their space. But you find your person, you create a group, you confirm it. That means that I would have had to say Riley's in my roommate group, and Riley would have had agreed with that, so that I'm not just picking a random person that I say I want to be roommates with. And then each of us can assign each other. Generally, the person with the earliest appointment time is assigning for both people. All right, so we're going to talk about once you move on campus and are living there, here's some important things that we wanted to talk about. The community guide is really important over the summer. So currently the 2022-23 community guide runs through the end of the summer technically. It will not change much. It is online. This cat is driving me crazy. Bro, get down. Sorry. It won't change much. So I say go ahead and look at that, especially if you have any elaborate decoration plans. Look at that community guide. It has all the information you need about like decorating, what you can bring, what you can't bring, visitation, all of that is in that community guide, and it is on the new student hub, which the link is at the bottom of this slide here, or on the homepage of the housing.uga.edu. So that's the first thing I tell people. Look over that community guide, be familiar with it. It is part of your contract. Secondly, micro chill rentals. So we have one trusted vendor that you can rent micro chills through, and that is a microwave, like mini fridge combo. And they are college products. You will probably get advertisements and emails from multiple vendors about this. And you're welcome to go with those, but our one that that we trust and that we have partnered with is called College Products. You can get to that from our website. We'll send emails. If you want to rent one, we suggest you do it through there. You know that we trust them. They will deliver it before move in. They will take it away after move in. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to haul your fridge down some stairs and meet them in a parking lot or anything. So that I'm just putting that out there. There are buildings, Reed, Payne, and Brown, that have the micro, and Morris, I think, that already have the micro chills in them. But the others do not come with them. So this is a suggestion if you would like to rent. And then finally, room plans. So once you have your space, you can go look it up on the housing website. There's a room plan search, or it's called floor plan search. And it will give you the exact layout of your specific room with furnitures and dimensions and everything. If you're looking for floor plans of the building, so, like a whole hallway or something, that is available if you log into the doghouse. So students would need to do that, but those are available in the doghouse. They're not available publicly, but I like to tell that resource to people because they don't always know that they can get a floor plan for their exact room from our website. All right, move-in. It's the most exciting time of the year. Move-ins this year starts August 11th. If you're planning to move in on the 11th, 12th, or 13th, you will need an arrival time. Don't have an arrival time yet? That's great. Nobody does. You will not hear about that until the end of June, basically. Once we have a better sense of how many people are coming and like what buildings they're going to, then we will give you the chance to choose your arrival time. If you don't want to move in on one of those first 3 days, that's fine. You can move in at any time, 24 hours, August 14th, 15th until 9 a.m. on the 16th, which is the first day of class. So in late June, you'll be able to choose an arrival time. They are building by building. So you're not competing with, 9,000 other people to get an arrival time. You're just choosing one within your building. So related to that, if you are participating in sorority recruitment, you will have a priority for arrival times on August 11th, which is a Friday. Other people will definitely have arrival times on the 11th in the morning that are not sorority recruitment. So just keep that in mind, but that is a priority. And generally those would fill up for sorority recruitment participants in the all first year buildings, Brumby, Russell, Creswell, but other people will definitely have chance as well. So I also want to tell people to look for Welcome UGA events beginning August 11th. So Welcome UGA is a website. It is also a program that is kind of where the hub of where we put out all of our welcome events for the whole university. So look there. If you're wondering, oh, but my student moves in on August 11th, what do they do until they have to go to class on August 16th? That is why Welcome UGA events are there, to keep you guys out of trouble and entertained until classes begin on the 16th. And then one last note about move-in is once you check into your room, you'll just show up your room, check in, show your ID, get your keys. Within 48 hours, look around your room. Let us know, is anything missing? Is anything broken? Do we need to fix anything? We are inspecting all those rooms and cleaning, deep cleaning, obviously, but maybe we missed something, or maybe something happened after our staff member had checked it. So just let us know, and that way we can fix that immediately. All right, so you're thinking, all right, I moved in, now what do I do? You have your UGA ID, which you will get at orientation. In order to get into your building, you will need to kind of wave that ID in front of the card reader and enter a PIN number that you have chosen. And so we'll tell you how to set that up later in the summer. As soon as you get your UGA ID, you can go ahead and set that up. It will not activate until you check in, but it doesn't hurt to go ahead and do it. We have 24-hour desks staffed in every community, so there's always a person you can talk to. There's 9 24-hour desks around housing, so there's always a person you can go to and say, I lost my key, I lost my ID, my sink is leaking, or whatever. We also have on-call student staff, or RAs, and professional staff members. And then we have our own security team, and of course, 24-hour maintenance response as well. So that should make people feel a little bit better about moving away from home. This will be your new home. Let me click. There we go. All right. So I tell people, if you're looking to figure out what's it going to be like, what's life look like once you live on campus, or what does my room or my building look like? Our YouTube channel is a great place to start. So we have a whole bunch of videos on there, mostly created by students like Riley, who are kind of documenting their experience. And we also have a bunch of 360-degree video tours. So every building's got a video virtual tour where you can kind of click and spin around as if you were in that room or that space. So check those out when you're kind of deciding where you want to be, or once you already have a location or an assignment. Those are a great place to kind of start. We also really want to talk about getting involved. Like, one of the great things about coming to UGA is the 800 student organizations and all the activities that you can get involved with and have resources for at a large university. Residence Hall Association and National Residence Hall Honorary are 2 student organizations that are run through University Housing. Both of them do some event planning. National Residence Hall Honorary is service oriented and for the top 10% of students living on campus. And then Residence Hall Association would be also event planning, but also advisory to staff for making policies and rates for housing. So there's some great ways to get involved. Community council is like student government. So if you have student government in your high school, that's what community council is. And they're usually by building. Some of the smaller buildings are combined, but it's really a student run kind of governance of those individual buildings. They do have input on policies. They do plan events. They have a budget. So if you're looking for some leadership experience, that's a great option to go through. All right, so I'm going to go through some FAQ before we start answering questions that are in the Q&A box. How do I get a single room? Great question. They are in there just like any other room. a lot of times people who have single rooms tend to keep them for the next year. So they may have been gone as early as February. But if they are available or they do become available, they will show up in a search if you search for them. Again, student-driven process. So we can't say what's going to be available when, but we do probably, close to 1,000 room changes over the summer as well. So things are kind of constantly shifting. If you want to look for a single room, here's where you would look for them. Payne, building 15, 16 have the most. And I say the most, that's really there's probably 10 or 15 in each of those. There really aren't a lot. But we also have some single bedrooms available. All right. And then the next question I get a lot is, what if the space I want isn't there when I go to choose? Chances are it won't be. We're pretty consistent about what we know people like and what they tend to gravitate towards first. So have a backup plan, and then have a backup plan. If you have a roommate that you're coming in with, decide, do we want to really be in this building and just in different rooms, or do we really want to be together and we don't care what building we're in? Make those kind of decisions before you start to choose, and that way you're not panicking or freaking out or maniacally Snapchatting or texting each other to try to figure out what your plan is. So have your plan in place, have your backup plan. The more confident you feel going into the better. You will have, I think, 10 minutes to hold a room in your cart is how they do it. But you won't have forever. So it helps to be planful when you're going into it. And then again, like I said, what are your priorities? Decide that ahead of time. Would you rather, like, you really, really want Hill Hall, but there's no 2 spaces in the Hill Hall. Do you put, do we each get a room or a space in a different room in Hill, and you're both in Hill, or do you want to abandon Hill and go to Box, which is the same? So just kind of make those decisions ahead of time. All right, next, how can I live with my chosen roommate if they have a later appointment time than I do? So if you have created your roommate group, which you have to do before you go to choose, you cannot do it during that appointment time. It will not let you. So make sure you have your roommates group set up before it's your turn to choose. Then you can pull someone in even if they haven't had an appointment time yet. So if you have any room with enough blank spaces, if like Heather and I are in a roommate group, and I see 2 spaces, I can pull her in. Or if I just say, oh, we really wanted Black Yellow Miller, I don't see 2 in any together, I pull myself into one and I pull her into another one, at least so we're in the same building. And that's what we had talked about. So just know that you can pull your roommate in as long as you're in a roommate group with them. And you can only have one person in your roommate group, because we used to let you have 4, but then a lot of people were leaving their friends out to dry, and it got really sad. All right, how do I know what spaces are available? So it literally changes probably every 10 minutes when we're working and shifting and trying to make adjustments and doing room change requests. But everything available to you is going to show on that screen. So, you may not have an appointment until the end of June, but that's fine. You snag what people would call an ideal space because somebody didn't sign their contract or they wanted a room change. There's room for everybody. So don't worry about it. There's room for everybody. We always do kind of a poll at the end of the year, and everyone always says the best building was the one that they lived in. So you create the experience that you want to have. We have a space for you. You're not going to get, like in a camper van in a parking deck. That's not going to happen. So just make sure that you're planful and that you have a plan and you have a backup plan, and know that you're going to have a great time regardless. Everything that's available to you will show. We're not holding rooms back. All right, so I'm going to go to the Q&A box and I'm going to see what is in here. All right, so one answer live. All right, She says, can you speak to which ones are already full? I've heard Russell, Brumby, Rutherford, Blackdale, and Miller are full. I honestly don't know. I'm guessing those would be kind of full, maybe for people who are looking for 2 spaces, but there's almost always 1 space before we wrap up the whole process with everyone having chosen. So I wouldn't say they were full because, again, things are constantly shifting. Russell, Brumby, Blackdale, and Miller are going to be the most popular, and Rutherford as well. But that does not mean you will not be able to find a space. Like I said, constantly shifting. It's kind of a hard question to answer. It's also student driven. So we don't know who wants what and how many people are bringing a roommate and how many people aren't. All right. So people have some questions about registering for housing and what the next steps are. So if you log into the Doghouse, you should be able to see what step you are on, but you also need to be checking that UGA email address. Check your UGA email to make sure you haven't missed any communications. We also put all the communications. Let me see if I can, it won't let me share my screen other than the one they're already sharing. But we also put all the communications that have gone out to kind of large groups of people on our website. So if you check the communication archive, you can see any emails that you may have missed or that your students may not have shared with you. All right, I've got Redcoat Band. I do not have, no one's coming earlier than August 11th. So I do not have a confirmation about the band. They may have priority to come on the 11th or in the morning of the 11th, but we don't have confirmation on that yet. They will not be earlier than the 11th, the Redcoats. If you do want to move in early and you are willing to volunteer, you can volunteer with check-in and what we call hunker down with housing, which is our whole move-in process. Those first 3 days of move-in, you can volunteer as a student and you get 2 t-shirts, meals during your shifts. You get to meet a bunch of people. So that's a great option as well. If you just search hunker down with housing or move in on our website, you will find that. But that's a great way to move in on the 10th if you want to move in a little bit earlier. Let's see, what times are available to move in August 11th, 13th? I think the move-in time slots begin at 8 and run through like usually 6 p.m. If you come after 6 p.m., then you don't need an appointment time. You can just show up. That's kind of another secret pro tip there. I've got what housing is located off main campus. There is one building that is on our health sciences campus, but it is not available to first-year students. So you will not have to worry about that. Let's see. Some questions about roommates. If we want Rutherford or et cetera, and there's only one place, but we attempt to bring a roommate with us, will they be placed in the same room with us? Or are you supposed to ditch them? That's what I'm saying, don't do. We will not put people in rooms. So if you have a roommate that you want to bring with you, you need to be responsible for bringing them in. If there's only one space and you really want Rutherford, put yourself in one, put them in another space in Rutherford, or ask them what their second choice is. So you need to decide if you're gonna put them somewhere else or if you're gonna put yourself, both of you, somewhere else. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Don't ditch them. At least give them a spot. They can always change it later. That's a good question. All right. Are there restrictions for what you can hang on the walls in the room? Heather's going to type and answer that, but I think that's a good one to answer live because yes, it is in the community guide. So some buildings you can have thumbtacks in the walls, and some buildings, have concrete walls and you cannot use thumbtacks. So check the community guide and you will find those answers. Let me see if I can pull that up. I'm going to try to pull up our new student hub, or I got to stop. And then you'll be able to see where a lot of those resources are. Give me a second. Gonna share again. No, I lost the Zoom window. There it is. Share. And we want this one. All right, so this is our new student hub. This is basically kind of a one-stop shop for anyone who's new to housing, where you can get links to lots of stuff. Community guides, where you can find all those policies and regulations about visitation, what to bring, what not to bring, how you can decorate, what you can use on the walls as far as thumbtacks, all that stuff's in the community guide. Again, here's move in, so you'll get arrival time information a little bit later in June. Here's where our webinars will be. Micro Chill, that rental program, that's the link for that. And then we have all this stuff down here that is great resources to kind of go through. The roommate success plan is something that RAs will go over with your student. Riley, can you talk a little bit about what RAs do?
Yes. So
Sorry, I was just like, you're on the spot now. Do it.
Oh, that's okay. I got it. RAs are going to be those upperclassmen that live in the same hall typically as those first year students. They're pretty much there if you need anything like emergency. That's who you typically call. My one-starred contact still is my RA. Like, so even if like she calls me in the middle of the night for whatever reason, I would answer it. They're there to help you for whatever reason, be it socially or maintenance. They can tell you like where to go next. Anything else, Carrie?
Yeah, I mean, they can tell you like, do you want to take that professor for organic chemistry or not? Or give you recommendations on student organizations. Like, they're really just chosen because they are good listeners, good communicators, and really connected on campus with resources. So
they're very much here to help you guide your college experience, because at the end of the day, none of the first years really know what we're doing, so we need help.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's a great kind of thing to point out, is there's always going to be someone there as a resource. That's one of the reasons that we have first years live on campus, is because we want everyone to feel like they have the most support possible. All right, I'm going to go back to the Q&A. Let's see, it says, can people who are not in a learning community still be housed in the dorms for that purpose? Yes. So our learning communities, which we have several, there's an entrepreneurship, there's a French and a Spanish, there's Franklin Residential College, there's an art and wellness learning community. All of those are in specific buildings, but they do not take up the whole building. So other people definitely do live there. That's a good question. Let's see. What are the drop-off procedures for move-in and when it will be posted? Heather's going to answer that, but I think that's a good one to answer out loud. So basically, you'll have an hour to park in our unloading zones, which are closer to the buildings. And then after that, you'll need to move your car to long-term parking. So you don't have to like drop off and dump all your stuff and then drive away. You do have an hour to park in those buildings closest to, or those parking lots closest to the building. All right, we are, finished with all the questions in the Q&A. So I'm going to give people a couple more minutes to think if they have a question. Riley, I'm calling you back again. Sorry.
That's totally fine.
So let's talk about two things. One is there something you brought and you ended up, you didn't need that at all, nobody needs that, or something that you didn't bring that you wish you had, something you felt was like, that was really smart of me to bring?
Okay, well, I didn't bring a drying rack, but my roommate did, and I did use that because sometimes when you go down, the dryers get full. As far as something I brought that I shouldn't have, I can't think of anything, but that is definitely because I watched a bunch of TikToks that was like, here's what I brought that I didn't need. So I really did listen to other students. I'm sorry, I don't have a specific example.
That's okay. I would say don't bring your printer. Like, just don't. Like, it takes up space. You're never going to have paper. Nobody ever has ink. and you can print, generally almost every dorm has a printer in it, or like the academic buildings, right? Rather like they have, you just send them
Yeah.
through the cloud and you can pick it up at the dining hall or pick it up at the Miller Learning Center.
Yep.
So I'd say don't bring.
One thing I did think of was 2 pairs of sheets. I think, in my opinion, you only need 1 pair of sheets, because if you're washing them, then you're gonna dry them too, and then you're just gonna put them back on your bed. My mother was insistent that I needed 2, but I guarantee you don't.
If you're on top of washing them, you're right. If you're not one of those people who's like, oh crap, I put my stuff in the washer 3 hours ago and now it smells weird, then you got to decide what kind of person you are. Are you a 2-sheet person or a 1-sheet person? All right, let's see. I've got, what kind of extra furniture or storage is suggested? It really depends on where you are, and what are you storing? A lot of our first year buildings like Boggs, Church, Mill, Lipscomb, Morris, even, they have a lot of really good storage. Brumby, Russell, Creswell would have like less. So it depends on what you want. Storage wise, did you have any good, like, where did you live, Riley? It was Brumby, right?
I lived in Russell.
Oh, Russell. Nice.
Mhm.
Russell.
Our ottomans opened, so that's where we put stuff, mostly shoes in there.
Yeah. Yeah, like those cube ottomans that are
Yep.
like storage. Okay.
You know them.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion. But yes, you can bring a futon. Like sometimes we tell people to just wait until you get there and see what you need. Because you're not moving to the moon. Like there is a Target, there is a Walmart, there's an At Home, there's an Amazon. Like you're not moving to the end of the earth. So you may need to live with it for a little while and see what you need. All right. Jania says, is there a mailroom in each building? No, the smaller buildings have a central mailroom. The bigger buildings do have mail directly in their building. And how packages work is, if we get a package for you, we'll email you and say, come get your package. And then you just show us your ID and then pick up your package. All right. So we've got a question about when the room change request opens. Yeah, you're right. It's not open yet. We will email you when it is open. And if you have a contract with housing, like if you have a completed contract, then you can make a room change request. Logically, you need a room to change your room. So you do need a contract in order to do that process, but we will send an email as soon as we open that, and you can go ahead in the doghouse and log in. Right now, we're just kind of cleaning up things, and we had some issues with roommate groups at the beginning. So we're trying to make people happy with their roommates for the people that have already chosen at the moment. Are all beds lofted? Generally, they are left in the position that the person who moved out before left them in. I know that's not very helpful, but we used to go through and de-loft everything, and then we'd have to go back through and loft them again. So now we just leave them, and we're like, you can make that decision. If you want help doing that, you can submit a work request through our online work request system. All right. Can you bring a safe? You can bring a safe. Go for it. If you do a room change request, can you request a room change with your roommate? Yes, you can. You both need to do the room change request, but you can both indicate that you want to move together. Obviously, it's harder to find 2 spaces than 1 space, but you can definitely do that because, like I said, we do probably 1,000. In case of power outages, do the buildings have backup generators or emergency lighting? So there is enough emergency lighting to escape, like if there were a fire or something, but it's not like a generator kicks in and all the lights come back on, if that makes sense. So it's enough to navigate the building, but it's not like full power, if that makes sense. So it's a great question. I like people who are thinking ahead to emergency management. All right, is there a place to lock up valuables in the rooms? So yes, every room is going to have either a cabinet that locks or a piece of furniture that locks, or you could add a lock to. It depends on what room you're in, what it has, but every place is going to have something where you can lock it up. And then we have questions about, can we see our actual room? So only Blackdale, Miller, and Brumby are available for tours during orientation. So if you're in Blackdale and Miller, then you can go see your room as long as someone's not living in it, because we do have orientation participants staying there as well as our orientation leaders. So please do not disturb people who are actually living there now. In Brumby, we will have one tour room open, but other than that, all the buildings are full of camps or academic programs like our Thrive program, which starts in July for incoming first year students as well. So sorry, we're also doing a lot of renovations and a lot of deep cleaning and facilities work over the summer. We do that every summer because that's the only time we have to really do in-depth work on our buildings. So we're making the better. All right, is there a floor plan that shows the location of the room in the building? Those are the ones that I was talking about that are in the doghouse. So students can log in and see a floor plan that shows where the rooms are in the building, but they're in the doghouse and you do need to log in to see those. Do rooms have their thermostat? Yes, or you're controlling the unit itself. So everybody's got in-room temperature control. That makes sense. Riley, have you seen any questions that people didn't ask that you hear a lot?
Not particularly, but let me just plug are there jobs? Sometimes people ask about jobs with housing.
Yeah.
I know Carrie mentioned the 24-hour desk service. That is available, like that's run by students too. So I work for housing. I'm a video producer. I do a very creative side of housing. And let me just take this time to say that you should look into it.
Yeah, so we have video producers and social media ambassadors who are creating content for our social media channels. That position is open. Like Riley said, we have CSAs, which is community services assistants who run the 24-hour desks and mail rooms and stuff. We also have engineering assistants and an IT assistant. So we employ almost 400 students in housing. So if you're looking for a job, that is a great place. And if you don't know your schedule yet, we know that. You can just go ahead and apply, even though you haven't stepped foot on campus yet. And we will work with you around your schedule, because we know you don't always know your student schedule. All right, I've got one more question, and then I'm going to give people some time to see if they have thought of anything. Carolyn says, if you were part of a roommate group, can you find a spot somewhere for 2 people when it's your turn to select your room, where there will only be singles available when you go to pick? That may happen, or that will happen towards the end of the process, towards the end of June. That may happen, but I would think now that there would still be 2 spaces, maybe not in the building that you want, but like I said, if you and your roommate really want to be together and be in the, just put yourself in that building and put your roommate in another room in that building. That's fairly easy to change. You can also do what we call roommates swap, which is the easiest way, which is like if Riley and I were living together and then Heather and her roommate were living together, and then we decided like, hey, Riley wants to go live with Heather and Heather's roommate wants to come live with me. No problem. We can do that easily, like in 10 minutes. So that's another way to do it as well. You can do some swaps. All right, let's see. We got questions about room change requests, like how long will it take? And honestly, again, I can't say, because it depends on where you want to go. When you put in your room change request, are you taking your roommate with you, or are you moving as an individual? All of those factors go in. So the easiest way to get a fast room change request is just request for yourself and request to go somewhere that not a lot of other people are requesting to go. So that would be kind of the easiest way to say that. But of course, that's not what people do. If you're living in Russell and you really want to move with your roommate, that may not happen at all. So you may just end up where you are, but we really do try to do everything. And, there are some people who don't want to be in a high rise or don't want to be in a smaller building. There's something for everybody, like I said. So we're doing those changes all we can, but there will be people that we go through the whole summer and we weren't able to grant that request simply because of when they made that request, other people were ahead of them, or because it just never became available. It's like a big puzzle that, if you take one piece out, you've got to find a place to put it somewhere else because we're full, if that makes sense. All right. We always have the option to live on campus during all 4 years of college. Yes, so we do have housing for people who are not first year students. It's pretty competitive. In the past couple of years, we have not been able to meet the demand for returners who want to live on campus. If it's really a priority for you, I would say choose a building that is not a first year only building, and then the chances are high that you'll be able to keep that same room the next year. So if you choose Brumby, then you can't stay in Brumby the next year because you're not a first year student anymore, right? So if you choose, Rutherford or Myers or building 1516, then that's a mix of first year students and upperclassmen. Generally let people who are in those buildings keep their same room if they choose to do so for the next year. And then you can just keep keeping it, if that makes sense. That's the easiest way to do it. All right. Does registration date impact housing priority for sophomore year as well? It does. That's a great question. This year we did it. It was in the order in which you registered as a returner, which started in December of last year for this coming fall. Riley, do you want to talk a little bit about that process? Do you remember room sign up?
I did not live on campus my sophomore year, but yes, I do know that it is competitive, and it does depend on what day you did register.
Yeah.
You're pretty much covered it, Carrie.
Yeah. It's basically like we'll open it up in December was what we did this year. We may do earlier than that. And then you can tell us, yes, I'm interested in living on campus, or yes, I'm interested in keeping my same room. And then we go in order, and the same thing happens. We offer people appointment times to choose. But we don't have room for everybody that wants to do that, but we do have room for about 2,500 returning students. All right, I'm not seeing any open questions. Heather, did you think of anything that we didn't talk about that you have heard questions about? Pulling her out of the abyss.
Nothing has come to mind yet.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm gonna get it like a couple more minutes or like seconds to let people decide if they've thought of a question, and then we maybe give you, 10 minutes of your life back. Yay. But y'all should know that we also, we're here all summer. We want to help you. We want you to be happy, and we want you to get what you want. And at least have you satisfied with your space. So feel free to call us, email from UGA email, or do the chat online. You can DM us. We really want to make sure that we are answering your questions. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions, so I will wrap it up. Thank you everybody for participating, and know that we will put this online on this new student hub tomorrow afternoon. Bye, and go dogs.
Go dogs.